Hi everyone, this is Gail from Pretty Presets, and today I wanted to share with you how I would edit this image. This is Katie's image, and she mentioned that she didn't really love the power lines in the background here, and that she'd like the snow to be brought out a little bit more. So I'm going to show you how I would edit this. I am going to try to remove some of these power lines. I'm going to show you because I think that's something that there have been a few people in the group who've been like, oh, I don't know, how can you remove such big things? Well, Lightroom is pretty powerful. So I'm going to show you how I would do this. I'm not going to spend the time removing every single power line, but I'm going to show you that it can be done. So let's start with the removal of the power lines. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click on my tool for removing stuff, my spot removal tool over here on the right, and I'm going to zoom in because it's really difficult to remove things if you're not zoomed into your image a little bit. I'm going to start with this pole, and typically when I'm using my spot removal tool, I like my brush to be significantly larger than the pole, and since I'm going to pull down a line, I need my brush to be bigger even on the bottom right here than it is on the top. So I want it, the center circle there to be bigger than the thing I'm trying to remove. So I'm going to start up here and I'm just going to pull down fairly straight till I about hit her hat there. And you can see that it did a pretty good job of removing that pole for me. Now there are a few more things I didn't get down here, and I probably will want to come up here and touch it up a little bit, but it did a pretty good job. So let's make my brush a little bit smaller here. My brush is being a little bit wonky, so I'm going to try this. I don't know, let's pull down the feather a little bit so I can get a little bit closer to her, this girl. Now, did you see what I did over here? This is going to make my edge slightly harder, okay? And that will mean that I can get closer to edges like her coat and her hat better. So I'm going to start over here and I'm just going to come in and make a little L shape like that and see what that does. That does pretty good. If I want to move this pin around a little bit to get a little bit better blend, I don't know, maybe it was pretty good where it was at. And then I'll go back and pull my feather up again and make my brush, and I'm just going to try to, if I hide the pins, you can see a couple of my edges here, so I'm just going to just kind of blend a little. See if I can blend. Okay, something like that. Now if you want to do the ones in the sky, these ones are going to be fairly easy actually. So I'm just going to come up here and click on my brush and drag across. And I'm going to pull this up fairly close to where I was removing from, because there's another line down here we're going to get rid of. We're going to pull it across and get rid of it. Well, I got too close to her hat, so I'm going to hit Command Z, Control Z to undo, and we'll try again, not getting so close to her hood. Ah, still did it. Let's try again. Maybe I should make my brush a little bit smaller because that is not a very wide line. I don't need a very wide brush. And you can see my lines are not perfectly straight. And then I can just pull that down. And you would have to do this a few times to get rid of all these lines. And I'll try that again. Oh, look, it did it great. So you can see, if I zoom back out, that Lightroom does a pretty good job of getting rid of stuff in the background. It's not perfect, and it's going to take me some time to go in here and get rid of all of these, but it's doing a pretty good job for what I'm asking it to do. And I probably would not need to go into Photoshop for any of this. I could do this all in Lightroom. Okay, so let's stop with that for just a second, and I'm just going to do 2 quick edits to this photo. So the first one, I'm going to use some of the workflow clean edit presets. I'm going to start with this all-in-one clean edit. We see this a lot in the group. A lot of people really like this. Just right there, that helps make the snow pop a little bit more. Let's hit done over here so I don't see my circles anymore. And now I'm going to probably do one of these contrast ones. Let's try maybe contrast a little. And let's try maybe brightening this a little bit. Let's do, they're brighten a little or a lot. Let's try a lot just for fun. Let's see what that does. Oh, that's kind of a fun brightness pop. Okay. And then maybe I will do vignette low. I'm probably slightly overuser of vignettes. I'm sorry to all those people who hate vignettes. I'm probably an overuser. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to get my radial filter, and I'm going to drag just this huge circle, and I'm going to reposition it over them. And I'm going to make it a little bit smaller here. And then I am going to choose from my graduated filters, I'm going to choose, let's try colorful background. And that's just going to make the background pop just a little bit more. And just like that, I think we brought out the snow, we brightened it up, we popped the color a little bit, and changed this image quite a bit. We can look at the before and after. So let's go back, let's go down to our history and undo some of those things we did. And let's try another edit really quickly here, because she kind of wanted the snow enhanced. And you could also do this with our Winter Wonderland collection. So I'm going to choose, from this one, I'm going to choose Purple Frost. And Purple Frost gives this pretty matte look, a little bit of a purple haze, and it adds some grain too, so you got to be aware of that. And then I'm going to come over down here and choose Snow Flurries, one of these Snow Flurries, and I'm just hovering over them to get the preview up there to see which one I want. Maybe this Snow Flurries 5. And then if there are any Snow Flurries that I want to move a little bit, I'm going to click on my radial filter over here. Let's get out of my before and after. I'm going to click on maybe some of these pins and just move them around a little. Maybe off the coats. They're a little bit obvious there. So let's, move them around a little bit. These ones on the ground, I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to reduce their exposure just a little bit. So they're just not quite so glaring. Because I think a few of them are a little bit bold. And I think just like that, let's hide my pins. H hides your pins, in case you didn't know that shortcut. And that's another really fun edit. There's the before and after, you can see. So 2 great edits and how to remove large objects from the background. Hope that helps you out today. Thanks, guys.